So before we get started, I was recently accepted into Epic's Support a Creator program, so anytime you buy things like Platinum or V-Bucks or even a game, if you'd be cool enough to throw an itsElonia at checkout underneath that creator code, that'd be really awesome. It sends me a percentage of what you purchase and it will really help me to continue creating content for Dauntless and for whatever else may come. Thank y'all so much and let's get started. Hey guys, and welcome back to another How To Dauntless video. With the Blaze escalation coming out on the 19th of March, I figured it was about time to drop episode 3 of the How To Dauntless series. In this video, we'll be going over Mastery, what it is, why it's important, and how to increase it quickly. Mastery is very important in Dauntless. It determines your Slayer's level, it unlocks different mods and specials for your weapons, and also dictates how high you can level up your weapons and armor. With that said, Mastery is something that you're going to want to start working on right away. And with this video, I'm going to show you the quickest way to get your Mastery leveled up so you can have an overall stronger character and unlock all sorts of goodies along the way. The Mastery system is broken down into really three categories. You have your overall Slayer level, which I'll touch on here in a second. You have your Behemoth Mastery, which is obviously Mastery that involves Behemoths, and you have your Weapon Masteries. Your Slayer level is the accumulation of all your Mastery efforts. So by getting your Mastery done, you will level up your Slayer level, which unlocks all sorts of goodies like increasing your max health, gathering bonus for them tasty plants, titles, loadout slots, and more. Once you hit Slayer level 18, you'll be able to plus 10 all of your weapons and armor and get those tasty plus 3 perks. However, you won't be able to progress your power or resistance beyond that point without doing your Behemoth and Weapon Mastery. But how do you do that? Let's take a look. Each Behemoth has their own set of tasks that you'll have to complete in order to progress your Mastery. Those tasks include straight up slaying the Behemoth, crafting its armor, leveling that armor up to plus 6, then plus 10, slaying the Behemoth 10 times using its own armor set, which by the way is the only time I'd ever recommend using an entire armor set on a Behemoth is this Mastery right here. Outside of that, there's really no reason to use an entire armor set of a Behemoth because usually there's another better build out there that combines all the different armor sets together. A fun fact about this one is if there's a lesser version of the Behemoth, so let's say you want to go and slay Nasher 10 times, you can actually use Nasher's full armor set against a lesser Nasher, and all of those checks will count towards getting your 10 runs done. Back on track though, dealing a total of 5 million damage to the Behemoth, slaying the Behemoth while taking less than 100 damage solo, slaying the Behemoth in under 3 minutes, which by the way, this little side note here real quick, usually on these two, it's the upgraded version of that Behemoth, so kind of the opposite of what we just talked about. So for instance, you can't do this against lesser Nasher or regular Nasher, you have to slay the Rage Tail Nasher in less than 3 minutes, slay the Rage Tail Nasher solo while taking less than 100 damage. And another side note on the 3-minute slaying, it's 3 minutes from the start of combat. So if it takes you 10 minutes to run around the map, to grab, you can gather it, maybe you can't freaking find them, whatever. Once you actually initiate combat, that's when the timer actually starts. Then you have the good old breaking Behemoth parts, staggering them, and wounding them. And a fun little fact here, with 1.1.3, all breaks, staggers, and wounds from a teammate now also count towards your Mastery as well, so no more competing for those last hits. Another thing to note is that each little square here, they're all worth the same amount of Mastery, so obviously some objectives are going to be easier than others. Crafting all of a Behemoth's armor, leveling it all to plus 6 will probably be a lot quicker than sitting there and trying to farm out the 5 million damage box. So the fastest way to get your Behemoth Mastery done is to work on checking off objectives that you can complete relatively easily. For instance, crafting all of the Behemoth's armor, leveling it up, then fighting them 10 times in their armor are all pretty simple tasks to knock out. So we've taken a look at Behemoth Mastery, now let's check out our weapons. Weapon Mastery is extremely important, not only because it helps level up your overall Slayer level, but you unlock weapon mods, weapon specials, level upgrades, along with some cores and a title at level 20. As you can see here, my hammer is level 15, and at hammer level 16, I'll unlock Extended Clip, which is an extremely powerful hammer mod. Weapon Mastery works just like Behemoth Mastery. It has objectives you must complete in the main category, but each weapon also has their own card with a list of objectives you must complete as well. The individual weapons themselves are pretty simple to complete. You gain a ton of Mastery for just crafting each weapon and leveling them to plus 6, then to plus 10. Since all little boxes give the same amount of Mastery experience, the fastest way to get your weapon masteries done is to craft every single weapon in a category, so craft every hammer, and then work on getting all of the hammers to plus 6. From there, you have to actually use the weapon to get experience for them. Now, just for leveling up as fast as possible, I recommend getting 2 out of the 3 boxes checked for experience with each weapon. The first tick of experience is at 300, the second being at 900, with the last being at 3300 XP. So sitting here and trying to focus on the third tick of a box of, let's say, a hammer would take way more time than just switching to another hammer and getting the first 2 boxes checked off. However, once you do have your mastery up, I do recommend getting your primary weapons of each category maxed out, so then you can start prestiging with that weapon and getting cores for doing so. What is prestiging, you ask? Well, that's simple. Once you have a card starred out or completely done, so you've got a weapon made, you've got it to +6, you've got it to +10, you've gotten that 3300 XP, all boxes checked, you'll start earning prestiges or silver cores for every 4500 XP gained with that weapon. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. Level up your weapons, get everything done, get your, for me, for instance, it's the chain blades, I got my Inferno blades, I get cores on there all day. I get asked all the time on my stream, why do I have 80 plus cores? And it's because I keep using the weapons that I prestiged with. So now that we know what we get from doing these objectives, what's the quickest way to get them done? And the answer is simple: escalations. I'd recommend running 1 through 13s for weapon masteries and 10 through 50s for behemoths. Yes, you'll get Behemoth Mastery for doing 1 through 13s as well, but the 1 through 13 cycle leaves out a good chunk of in-game behemoths. What makes this the best choice for farming mastery is that you're up against multiple behemoths. So A, you're getting multiple behemoth masteries done, and B, since you get your weapon experience by using said weapon while slaying those behemoths, having more is certainly merrier. And y'all, that's basically it. Just read each mastery card, figure out what you want to work on, and go out there and work on it. Go for the easier objectives than the tougher ones, and you'll be Slayer level 50 in no time. Until the next time, guys, y'all take care.
Hey, fucker, come here.
Oh shit.
Not that way, not that way.
No, I accidentally hit a bit.
I don't have resin.
Yeah.